Hi friends, today we're going to work with lesson 7, which is all about rewriting 3-digit addition, okay? So you're going to open up to page 389 in your math book to work along with me, okay? So some of you have done this before when we did this with 2-digit addition. Some of you may not have done this before, depending on where you come in, but it's pretty simple. So we're going to start, of course, with our visual representation. And it says there are 143 firefighters and 167 police officers in my town. How many firefighters and police officers are in my town in all? And they want us to write the number in the place value chart and add. So we have 143 plus 167. So 143 is going to go first because that's what's first in our problem. So you put your hundreds, your tens, and your ones. 143. Okay, then you do the same thing with that second number, so plus hundreds, tens, and ones. Okay, so then of course we're going to add just like we normally would. We have 3 plus 7 is 10, so we know to put what was left in the ones place and carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 6 is 11, so we're going to have a 1 in our ones place and carry a 1, which is actually a group of 100, right? And then we have 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So our answer is 310 firemen and police officers. Alright, so let's kind of talk about that in more detail, right? So you can rewrite a problem to add. So if it's written horizontally like this, you can rewrite it to make it easier. Now some of you have already seen, have started doing this on your word problems and things like that, and the brain builder parts of previous lessons, so it shouldn't be too tricky for you. So it says, it says to write one addend below the other addend. And remember the addends are the numbers, the digits, or the numbers that are in an addition problem, right? Think of it as, remember, you're adding them in, so they're an addend. So step 1, write one addend below the other addend. Okay, line up the ones, tens, and hundreds. Add and regroup as necessary. So this is a pretty easy strategy. The most important part is that you line up the different place values. Now, when they give you these boxes like this, it's pretty simple to make sure you have your ones, tens. It gets a little trickier when you don't have these lines dividing it. Okay, so you want to make sure it's really clear that your ones, your tens, and your hundreds are lined up. So like for this, they've lined it up. They have our ones, our tens, and our hundreds lined up. And then you have 6 plus 4 is 10. So again, we have that 0 in the ones place. Carry that 1 for the group of 10. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 6 is 13. So we have the 3 left over. Carry that group of 100. We have 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So our answer is 630. Okay, so once you get it lined up, you're just going to add through as normal, just like we've been doing with our other lessons. So let's rewrite some problems and add. So remember step 1 is to write one addend below the other. So the first one is going to be the one on top. So we have 634, and I'm using my lines in this case, and 125. So they're not labeled, but these are my ones, these are my tens, these are my hundreds. And then I'm just going to add like normal. So 4 plus 5 is 9. No need to regroup there. It's not more than 10. 3 plus 2 is 5. Again, no regrouping. And 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay, so pretty simple. The most important part is that first step, making sure those ones, tens, and hundreds are lined up. Because if you don't line them up correctly, then your problem is not going to end up right because you're going to be adding the wrong digits together. Okay, so our next one, 245. I'm going to put that one on top. 245 plus 236. Same thing, I have my ones, my tens, and my hundreds. So ones, I have 5 plus 6 is 11, so we are going to have to regroup and carry. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 3 is 8. I don't have to regroup that. And 2 plus 2 is 4. Don't need to regroup. Now, something that might be a little tricky for you guys when you're writing it is spacing, right? You want to make sure that you give enough space for each number. So one way that you can do that is you can write that bottom number first, which is kind of what they're sort of saying in that first step. So with this one, I could write that bottom number first to make sure that I have enough room for both. So I would start with that 163 on the bottom, and then put the 743 on top. Alright, you see it still lines up, my ones, my tens, hundreds, and then that way I just really made sure that I had room for both. So that might be something you want to do, write the bottom one first to make sure that you don't end up squishing one, right? So then just add like normal. We have 3 plus 3 is 6. 4 plus 6 is 10. So in this case, I'm putting the 0. What's left in the ones place carrying the 1, so 0 in the middle. 1 plus 7 is 8. Plus 1 more is 9. Okay? So then we have 264 plus 566. So I'm going to show you again how I would start with the bottom number. Put that 566 first, making sure I have room for it, and then putting my 264 on top, making sure that my 1s, my 10s, and my 100s are lined up. So I have 4 plus 6 is 10. Again, putting that 0 because that's what's left in the 1s place. And that 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. Plus 6 is 13. 3 left over in the 1s place. Carry. 1 plus 2 is 3. Plus 5 is 8. Alright, so I'm just going to model a few more. This should be pretty familiar for you because rewriting is really the only new thing. After that, it's exactly what we know how to do, adding them, regrouping if we need. Alright, so we have 396 plus 378. I've lined up my 1s, my 10s, my 100s. I have 6 plus 8 is 14. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 7 is 17. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 3 more is 7. Okay, so I'm just regrouping if I need to. Alright, and one more modeling, putting the second one on the bottom first, 592 and 237. Okay, so we have 7 plus 2 is 9. Don't need to regroup there because that's not more than 10, so I'm not carrying anything. 3 plus 9 is 12, so I am going to regroup and carry here. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 5 is 8, so we have 829 for that answer. So it says, how is rewriting 3-digit addition different than rewriting 2-digit addition? Well, the only main difference is that you now have this hundreds place to worry about too, right? So with 2-digit addition, you really only had to worry about 10s and 1s lining up, and now you have this 100 as well. Other than that, the strategies are the same. You're just lining them up instead of being horizontal, they're vertical like such, and having the different places lined on top of each other, but that's the same. So, all right, so what you're going to do is you're going to go through and practice. Now, I am going to show you. So they have a couple with the lines like I was showing you, and then they do take the lines away. They keep the plus sign and the equal sign, but they take away your guiding things. So you might really want to use the writing the bottom number first in this strategy just to be a little cleaner and neater for you. So let's look at number 10. So we have 373 plus 495. So let's say I start with my 495. Okay, it's on the bottom. I have nice and lots of room. Now, I'm going to put the 373 on top, but I have to make sure that my hundreds, my tens, and my ones line up. So, 300 is going to go over the 4, right, because that's the hundreds place. 73. Okay, so even without the lines, you can see that my ones are lined up, my tens are lined up, and my hundreds are lined up. And now I can go through to add. 3 plus 5 is 8. No need to regroup. 7 plus 9 is 16. We'll regroup that and carry. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 4 is 8. Okay, so you can see my ones place lines up, my tens, my hundreds, and I'm able to find my answer. Okay, so it's really important that you're writing neatly and you're writing clearly so that you can follow along and that I can see what you're working on. Okay, as always, we also have some word problems and brain builders for you to read through and set up your problem here in the margins. And then you'll be doing the same thing on your homework. They give you the lines for a few, take the lines away, and then, of course, your brain builders and test practice as well. Okay, so nothing too crazy, just the most important part is making sure that they line up so then you can add like you know how to. All right, friends, do your best, work hard, and have a great rest of your day.